What's up, everybody? We're back again on the court, episode 2 with AG and CP. We're here talking some hoops with you guys yet again. We've got an interview with Nick Brooks from Rutgers men's basketball. He's a home friend of mine growing up, and he's making the tourney. First time Rutgers has made the tourney in since we've been alive, since 1991. So they're making history there. I've got an interview with him about that and kind of his journey to get to that point that just dropped. So be sure to check that out as well. But we'll get right into it. I mean, the All-Star game was this weekend, yesterday. So how'd it go, Connor? I didn't tune in, honestly.
I mean, like the first three quarters were how All-Star games typically go. I mean, nothing extraordinary. Lot of dunks, a lot of three-pointers. Dame and Steph went back to back, pulling from half court, hit two in a row. Well, one each, two in a row, the same squad.
Right.
And then the fourth quarter. So last year they introduced the Elam ending. So in honor of Kobe, at the end of the third quarter, add 24 points to the score of the team that's winning at the moment, and it's first team to that
Get to
target
that.
score to win. Which I really love a lot because they stole it from the basketball tournament, the $2 million winner takes all kind of March Madness type thing that they do in the summers for a lot of the overseas pros.
Yep.
But I think it's a truly great addition to the All Star game because yeah, it's cool. Like guys don't want to get hurt, don't go too hard. But with the Elam ending, it gives them a set like a purpose. Like the game actually kind of means something,
Yeah.
and where they're actually playing some defense, having some like good block shots, or like it's an actual game, not just like them messing around the whole time. But I thought,
I, I liked it last year. I watched last year, and it got really intense. Those last couple buckets last year. I didn't get a chance to watch this year. It was my birthday yesterday. I was
oh, happy
visiting
belated,
from.
brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. But yeah, I was hanging out with my girlfriend. I didn't even try to tune in. But I saw
Yeah,
Dame hit a game winner from like half court, right?
no, so that was like I think that was either end of the second or during the third quarter. He just pulled
Oh,
like
okay.
decided he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna pull from half, and then missed the first one, came down next possession, hit it, drilled it from half, and then Curry did the same thing the following possession after the make, which is
Yeah,
pretty dope.
typical. That sounds
Yeah,
like them.
yeah, but I mean, like overall, the All Star game, it was close for the first two quarters, and then Team Braun pulled away towards the end. So like the Elam ending in itself really wasn't too crazy because like the game was pretty much under wraps at that point.
Got you.
But
So it
even
didn't have
so,
it didn't have the same effect as last year because it was kind of already a blowout.
yeah, like it wasn't. I think it was like a 15-point margin before that, and then
Yeah.
Team Braun scored like I think they had like 10 straight buckets. Like just I think like half leading into it, and then like half at the start of the Elam ending. But overall, I think like the quality of play definitely picks up. So I think it's here to stay for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I loved it last year. Like I said, it's just so much better. I mean, nobody watched. I mean, we watched the All Star game because it's still exciting somehow. But like, think about what happened with the NFL with the Pro Bowl. And I know at some point, I guess last year was that point for the NBA where they're looking at it like this might be us soon. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm glad that they implemented that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. And because like with when TBT brought in the Elam ending, I don't think they had that the first couple of years that was going on. And typically those games tend to be a lot closer after the first round or two. And those games like they have like true March Madness feel to them. So real like it's really something like a great addition to the All-Star weekend because take out like other than the All-Star game, dunk contests have gotten worse. We'll get to that in a little bit,
yeah,
but it adds more excitement to what should be a great weekend. Plus, at the end of each quarter, they kind of like scrimmages in high school, they reset the scores, and like they're doing donations to different charities this year. It was
right.
HBCUs,
Hmm.
so that gives the players a little also a lot more incentive to play.
Well, pretty much gives them incentive to score. Oh wait, it's the winners of each, right? They have their own charities.
Yeah,
And
so like
oh, okay, yeah, true.
I think it was like Team Durant, they were one it was one specific HBCU, and then Team Braun, it was for like a big fund of some sort. I can't remember
Gotcha.
specifics.
Yeah,
But
so I mean, it's definitely a good addition to the All Star game. I find it interesting that the TBT was using it already because I feel like at that point there's $2 million on the line. Everyone's hooping anyway. You don't really need that, but it makes it interesting, and it was definitely necessary in the All Star game for sure.
hands down.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, we'll get into the dunk contest now. Well, actually, who won MVP?
Giannis.
I didn't
Yeah,
pick him on the weekly show. I think I'm 0 for 4 on my
yeah,
picks.
I had I just bet I the only thing I bet on props wise was Zion to win it, and he missed 4 dunks in the first quarter, so then got less burn as the game went on.
Yeah,
And then they had Giannis, who had I think like 24 in the first half. Steph had 22 in the first half. So yeah, it was a wrap for that Zion bet, but it was good value plus 1200.
yeah. I think I had Steph winning. So, but
Yeah,
then yeah, the dunk contest.
that was trash, bro.
I didn't
That,
see it, and I've heard nothing good, so I'm probably not gonna watch any of it. But
no, no, don't even bother. It was only Anthony Simons, Obi Toppin, and Cassius Stanley. I
yeah,
mean, I thought like my thoughts going in, like I didn't really know much about Anthony Simons' bounce. And I think they said when he was warming up for his first dunk, he's had 2 dunks this year and then like 16 in his career or something like that in the league. And then and like Cassius Stanley, I think he's played like 2 games because he's on a two-way. He hasn't had a dunk in his
he's
NBA
got bounce
career.
though. He's
Well,
got
yes,
bounce.
like that's why he was the betting favorite. He was like
Yeah, I
minus
picked him.
160.
I picked him.
Yeah, he was my favorite too because I'm thinking like, all right, so he's a 1 foot jumper, so gets a lot more running starts, so he's able to get a little more creative in the air. Also, smaller frame. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", compared to Obi, who's 6'9", and he's a 2 foot jumper, bigger frame, less ability to get real creative in the air. But Cash Stanley, he missed some, not like they're obviously not easy dunks, but he missed a couple he really should have made. He did something like he just threw it up, threw it in the air where he would catch it off the bounce and like take off from like pretty close to the free throw line. But he like for him, that's a dunk he should make. He missed that twice in a row. So obviously they're going to deduct points from that. Simons ended up winning it. Obi Toppin wasn't that great. I don't think, and like just overall, like there wasn't that much creativity with the dunks. Simons did a throwback to T Mac with one of his dunks, like the double clutch where he touches his feet on the
Mhm.
reverse.
Gotcha.
Try to do that, but like doesn't have the same bounce that T Mac did. So wasn't to the same effect. It was still a good dunk, but overall, it's not the same dunk contest as when Nate Robinson and Dwight Howard were going at it.
Yeah, and I was surprised that Simons won. Like I said, I picked Cassius, but I thought it was gonna be between Cassius and Obi.
Me
But
and you
I
both.
saw, yeah, I saw a proposal. Well, not a proposal, but somebody on Twitter said it, and they said we should abolish the dunk contest and instead replace it with a one-on-one tournament.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
think I retweeted that too.
I might have saw it all for you, but I was like, at this point, that might not be half a bad idea. I mean, remember when they tried horse? I don't know why one v ones has never been a thing. You can even make it like the drill, like a 3 dribble 1v1s, king of the
Yeah,
court style.
one shot, no rebound.
Yeah, king of the court, like you know,
Yeah,
first to
no,
seven or something.
dude,
That would be entertaining.
think about it. Like like when they post the highlights from Team USA camp when during the practices when all the players are going
Yeah.
ones,
Yep.
like they're doing crazy game moves and even stuff some of them wouldn't do in games.
Right.
So much
That would
better.
be entertaining.
So
It would be
much better than
entertaining.
the dunk contest because at this point they've done all the dunks that like any dunker could think of have been done at some point. And like going back in years, some of the guys, like I think I was listening to Zach Levine on All the Smoke the other day, and I can't remember which dunk, but like one of his dunks that I think um that ended up helping him win the his first dunk contest was something like he thought of on the fly. But like at this point, there's really not much these guys can think of that hasn't been done already.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like you got to be super creative, but like to the point where it's like corny now. It's like the only super creative thing you can think of is like everybody thought of it, they just didn't do it because it's whack. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
pretty much.
Like what are you gonna do next? So I feel like they definitely should think about changing that potentially, or at least just figuring out a way to just make it more interesting. Like if they're gonna keep with the dunk contest, they got to change some of the rules significantly. Like make something significantly different. I don't have the answer, but they need an answer.
Yeah, one thing I thought that was good though for the final round, instead of doing it by score, the judges just pick like the straight outcome of the winner, which I thought is better because scoring's so arbitrary to each individual judge that like we you see it every year, and honestly almost every single dunk, like there's some scores that are too high, should be like a couple points lower, and the reverse, or lower
Yeah,
that should be kind of in the middle of that range. So
yeah.
I don't know.
D Wade got himself in the mess in that mess once.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he was on the TNT call with Chuck, Shaq, and the boys, and
Hmm.
he is great. He's a great personality that they added.
Yeah, definitely. And then Sabonis won the skills competition. There's not much to talk
I
about
had
there.
him because now we've seen it. I
Yeah,
think it's the last. I think this is either the second or third year in a row a big guy has won it, or
shit.
maybe two out of three, something like that. Because Cat won it, I think, not last year, maybe the year before. I don't remember the particulars, but also one thing they pointed out, he was the only one who was warming up shooting jumpers before starting the skills comp, which, and that's normally what it comes down to. In the finals, it came down to him versus Vucevic. They're pretty much neck and neck, going through the tires, doing everything, the layup, and came down to who hit the three first. I think it took Sabonis four shots, and then Vucevic obviously didn't make it because he didn't win.
Yeah,
But CP3 missed a layup. He missed the bunny.
I think I saw that on Twitter. Yeah,
Yeah. And then I don't know why they had Robert Covington in it, because do you ever see him dribble in an NBA game?
beats me. No, he
He doesn't
plays
dribble.
defense.
He doesn't pass. He just hand last year
Plays
he was handing
defense.
the ball off to James Harden. Now he's handing it off to Dame.
Yeah, he plays defense. That's his role. But I actually talked about that on our weekly show that we dropped last Wednesday. I had to we do a segment called "Get It Off Your Chest." So whenever there's something going on that we got to get off our chest, that's what I'd said. I said Lamelo turned down the skills challenge, so they had to bring Rocco in, and I'm like, oh, why are we doing that? There's so many other people to choose from.
Honestly, they should have, like, they added Conley to the All-Star game, but also the three-point shootout, and he lost by one to Steph. But like he should have been in the
Yeah,
skills.
yeah, and they brought an extra guy down there. You know what I mean? They didn't have to bring an extra guy down there. Not like because he's not there already for All Star Weekend. Is my point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it made more sense to just take somebody that's already in the game that has some skills, since it's the skills challenge, and put him in. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
But it's just
Maybe someone's got to throw like a little nudge to LeBron. Like, yeah, of course he doesn't do the dunk contest, but he's the best passer in the league.
I don't even want to see him do that. Do the dunk contest or nothing. Dunk contest or bust for him.
I
I hope
mean,
Zion. I hope Zion does at least one.
yeah, I was kind of surprised he didn't do it because I mean he would literally be the best contestant.
Yeah, he would have won by
Honestly.
far. He could make that interesting again.
Yeah, if they brought back, I mean, Obi Toppin and Cassius Stanley, those are two good contestants. Although like the product wasn't great, but
Yeah,
hey, if you had those two, you brought back Zach Levine and got Zion to do it, that would be a hell of a show.
I
Because
tune in.
you have two 2 foot jumpers and then two 1 foot jumpers, all with a different degree of creativity and kind of like different style, like Zion we see in his clips, a lot of windmills and stuff in game. And he tried to go for like like a reverse 360 in the All-Star game, which was one of his missed dunks. But like that just goes to show he tried doing that in the All-Star game with one
Yeah,
of the bigs in the post.
right. He could do it in the dunk contest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, that was a shame that him and LaMelo didn't didn't do it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I had to get that off my chest on last week's
Oh,
episode,
sure.
our weekly headline show. Um, and then yeah, like you mentioned previously, Steph edged out Mike Conley in the 3-point contest. I had my money on Steph actually, so I did get one right. I forgot. So I'm one
Yeah,
and
I
three.
didn't touch it because it's such a toss up. Like I
Yeah,
kind of figured like I was leaning towards Steph, but then I was thinking maybe Jalen Brown, and like he ended up getting hot at one point, but I don't know. Not
I was thinking Donnie Mitchell might pull it off. How did he do?
yeah, he's too streaky, not like a real 3-point shooter. Like the rest of them are snipers. That's why I was looking at Jalen Brown because he like his game's more of a slasher and spot up shooter with that Celtics team. So
Yeah,
like it actually fits his style of play pretty well.
yeah. I thought it was between. I said on the pod between Steph, D Book, and Donnie Mitchell. So
Yeah.
I got Steph right. There
Yeah.
you go.
One's better than none, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Tell my bank account about that. But um, then we had Blake Griffin officially
Oh
signing with
yeah.
the Nets. That's your squad, so I'm gonna let you take care of that.
I mean, we've talked about this both on like the first episode of this, I believe, but how like yes, obviously it's great to add another big talent. Downside is it doesn't address any of the things that need addressing for this team. Although they're getting better on defense, the post defense end is not being taken care of with the Blake Griffin signing. Doesn't play defense, hasn't had a dunk this year yet, and but on the flip side, it just makes the offense more potent because you add a bigger guy who could stretch the court, shoot threes. He's 6'10", and he's one of the better passing bigs in the league, but also could grab a board and go because he showcases what he could do with his handles now as his career has progressed. But I think the Nets are still looking. They're going to be looking to make a move at the deadline for more defensive, like a big paint defender. Hopefully, JaVale McGee type, someone like that, who provides a little bit more bounce and a little bit more range and athleticism than DeAndre Jordan has at this point. But overall, I mean, like, who's going to complain about signing Blake Griffin? Yeah, he's not the all star dunking over the Kia like he once was, but it just adds another thing for that defenses are going to have to game plan for when postseason comes around.
So you don't see a new Lob City with maybe Kyrie or James Harden with Blake and DJ.
I
It's not
mean,
Lob
it's
City
just like
anymore.
he he's he's pretty much moved to below the rim. DeAndre Jordan, yeah, he's getting a lot of lobs, but that's because his style of play. He's always in the dunker spot and like that short
Yeah,
corner coming off or rolling off of the screen.
yeah,
Blake Griffin, that's not really his style of play. You look at the last few years, and it's more perimeter oriented because he up in his first like major set of games with the Pistons, he was averaging almost 6 threes a game. So you take more three. I'd rather take more threes over dunks. And
yeah.
like
But
you
now,
see, you see it with the trend in the NBA, like with advanced stats. The reason they're shooting more threes, it pays off more than taking contested layups and dunks,
yeah.
especially when someone who's lost his bounce almost entirely.
Well, that's the problem. He's not even well, at least to begin this year, he's not even shooting as well as he was when he first joined the Pistons and moved outside. I think he's shooting like 36.5% from the field right now.
Yeah, overall, I mean, he's playing with the Pistons team that has
Right.
no other offensive weapons. So it's
Right.
like you're gonna key on the guy who's making 35 mil a year if you're the defense. But I mean, and like he's gonna be much more wide open because the defense Harden's gonna have the ball. You have Kyrie running around doing his thing. Eventually KD's gonna come back. So Blake has the fourth option as a stretch big, whether they run him with as like a stretch five or say with DeAndre Jordan and go a lot bigger, it's still going to free him up a lot because with the drive with Harden, KD, and Kyrie, defense someone's going to be open because defense is going to draw in from say the short corner to either protect the drive or protect the lob to DJ, and he's going to be wide open. So like his
Is he hitting the
efficiency,
shot? Is he hitting the shot though?
he's
That's
going to
the
hit
question.
open shots. That's the
Yeah. All
thing.
right.
His shots aren't going to be open with the Pistons. That's the
Right.
whole thing. And even if he doesn't start shooting them consistently well to start out, he also had they've been sitting him on the bench, and he was caught with a little bit of the injury bug also. So like once he gets back into the flow of things and gets some chemistry with the team, I think it'll be fine. But then like if he doesn't shoot well, then it's a pointless deal. I mean, like the Nets have a mid-level exception, which I'm assuming is what they're using
Yeah.
for when they signed him today. But I mean, if you could get him for the low, you get him.
Yeah. No, I agree with the pickup. I just don't want people to get their hopes up thinking, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram saying like, "Oh my God, how much help does KD need?" Like they're making jokes because that's what everyone always says about Bron. But I'm looking at him like, I don't think you guys have been watching this year. Like, and I'm willing to give him a chance with the Nets. Like you brought up good points about him being on the Pistons. He's not getting open shots. The defense is keying in on him. I get it.
Yeah, and like
So we'll see. We'll see how he turns out with Brooklyn. You know.
and like compared to the other teams he could have gone to, like the Lakers, I think the fit's worse
Yeah, I agree.
because like the way the Nets are like the way the team is built, it kind of fits to like the trajectory of Blake's career being more perimeter oriented. And
Definitely.
with the Lakers, depending on who he's running with, he would have still been like a second, maybe third option, depending on like which pieces are on the court at that particular time. But with the Nets, I honestly would like to see him running like kind of like the second unit with Kyrie. I think that would be a I mean, obviously, like he's going to play well regardless, but I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day, and for some reason, I forget what specifically drew me to that conclusion, but I kind of feel like that would be a good combo to have.
I could
I
see the
mean,
vision.
I guess it was probably something to do with, say, a pick and roll with Blake and Kyrie as a ball handler, but then you could say the same thing for Harden.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, both could work. I mean, the
Yeah,
Nets have kind of been doing that anyway so far since the trade for Harden. Kind of just, I mean, not to their fault, but people have been out. You know, KD was out with the COVID protocol. Kyrie had some injuries. Harden's been the one consistent, always playing for the most part, but they've kind of been running it that way anyway. So I feel like both could work. Like they don't
yeah.
have to solidify one of them, you
And
know?
I'm thinking about like kind of like different groupings of players, and I would kind of like I would like say even if Kyrie and Harden are all like off the court at a particular time, say you have like I'm just thinking of to compensate for Blake Griffin's lack of defensive ability at this point. Say you run him at the five, which I think is probably going to be the best move and where he's most productive with this team. So then you have him at the five, KD at the four, Bruce Brown. I mean, he's been playing like kind of small ball 4 or 5 at some stretches since KD's been out. But then, like defensively, I think the two of them with their wingspans, because Bruce Brown, he's 6'4", but he has a 6'11" wingspan, and he's tough, rugged. Like he's one of those dogs. So I think that could be a good way to compensate and kind of like cover up for Blake's lack of defense.
Yeah, I agree. Does this make the Nets the championship favorites?
I mean, I don't think it really like if we're talking like betting wise, I don't think it really pushes the odds that much better because I mean they're already I think they're sitting at second best odds after the Lakers.
Yeah, but this does this put them over the hump for the Lakers in your opinion? I mean, I know you're a Nets fan, so try
Yeah.
to be
So
objective with it.
oh
But
no, like whenever I'm giving Nets takes, it's not like I'm not one of like those delusional Giants fans who's thinking like, oh, once we got like Saquon,
no, you
like
got to say we're on the
bro,
court
I'm a
today.
Giants fan too. I'm just
No,
saying
no, but
like
we're on the.
I have friends that are like, oh, once you get like a little piece here and there, you think like the world is theirs. But like I'm very realistic, and I said, like before they signed KD and Kyrie, that it's it's only worth it if they win a chip to begin with. Harden again, only worth it if they win a chip because they gave up a lot of pieces, draft picks,
Yeah,
and young talent to get him.
No, I agree. There's a
See
lot
how
of
Jared Allen's flourishing, but like basically the point is like I don't think it's really the like a true needle mover. Like I think like a defensive addition like for paint defense would be a bigger catalyst for them to move up in the contention rankings.
I hear you. Yeah, I was just gonna say we're on the court today, so you got to call out the Sixers fans with that. You got to say you're not a delusional Sixers fan. That would have been
Yeah, I
best.
mean, I don't know too many Sixers fans, and like the process is still going for them. That's all I gotta
I
say
know,
on that. And
I
like,
know a ton.
yeah,
They're
and
still delusional.
they're I mean, the additions they made, they're still looking good, but I see them bottoming out at some point. I don't think they'll like we talked. I mentioned it last week. I don't think that they'll stay atop the East. And also Ben Simmons, no jump shot. When you get into 7 game series, yeah, Embiid's going to give you 35. Also said it to Fred in the group chat last week,
Yeah,
but like, yeah, you're like, all right, you let Embiid get his, just don't let him go for 50. He ain't going for 50 every game, and like you make sure that you get under Simmons' skin, you make him shoot jumpers, don't let him get into a great passing rhythm, and you really key on make sure Tobias Harris takes tough looks. Was he shooting his best percentages from the field and from three in his career this year? And then get under the skin of Danny Green, make him look like he did with the Lakers, because without Danny Green, their only shooters are uh Seth and Tobias Harris, who isn't like historically a great 3 point shooter.
yeah.
So like you take like you have to pick and choose. So you take away Simmons passing, and you get under the skin of the 3 point shooters, and I think that team folds. They don't have. I don't think they really have depth. Whereas like I think the Nets overall, like they've built a team that in like yeah, granted in the playoffs teams go for more like limited rotations, 8, 9 guys throughout a series. But like if we're literally talking about Nets versus the Sixers, the Nets are overall a much deeper team other than in the front court. But scoring wise, the Nets could do so much more. We haven't mentioned Joe Harris at all. He's playing the best ball of his career. Then Luwalu Cabarro, dude who could get really hot and play some good defense standing at like 6'8", good wingspan. Shamit, good defender, sitting at 6'5", can handle the ball in stretches, and if he gets hot, it could be scary. And like there's other guys, like the Nets also got some other guys too, where I think their depth is a reason I mean, look at any sports book, their odds are better than the Sixers. You
Oh
ask
yeah.
you ask any analyst, they're better than the Sixers. They haven't had KD for
Right.
half this season so far. Just added Blake Griffin. Haven't gotten chemistry with all their guys yet. Have injuries with Jeff Green, who's shooting the best of his entire career from three and from the field. Shamit
Right.
looked like absolute garbage shooting until 2 weeks ago. So the net, like as crazy as it is, the Nets are still they haven't rounded into form yet.
Right, which is why the Sixers fans on my timeline saying they're the best team in the East, best team in the league, all that nonsense. That's why I called them delusional just now.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, I understand. Like I feel them to the truest of extents. Like Nets were sitting at the in the cellar. Like because I grew up watching them like Vince Carter, Jay Kidd, going to games
Yep.
at Izod Center. But
I got a Richard Jefferson Nets poster hanging up right here.
oh,
That's why I looked up.
RJ, he's my favorite basketball announcer right now. But
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny.
But
But
no, it's like I feel them. Nets were sitting in the cellar. They made the deal to get the big three. Then we're back to the cellar. At one point, had the worst winning percentage in NBA history till the
mhm,
Hornets broke that in the lockout year, or well, the
yeah,
Bobcats at that point. But so like I feel their pain, but it's like regular season doesn't mean anything. It
mhm.
just helps you with seeding, and like really without fans, it's just a matter of like you like your locker room more, really,
Yeah,
and
right.
more home cooking.
Or your
That's
rims
about
or
it.
whatever.
Because like even so, they're like the Nets just got fans back like a week and a half ago, like at very limited capacity, where it's
Well,
like
that's the thing. By playoff time, all these arenas might have some people in there. We'll see how it goes as they keep opening up more of the
Yeah,
states
but
and
it's still
whatnot.
not like until it's really like full capacity, it's not a true home court
Yeah, it's not.
advantage.
Yeah,
And like the players are going to say that, yeah, we love having more fans back because that's also like the diplomatic thing to say.
they have to.
But like, yes, they do love fans in the stands, but it's still not the same. Like it's not when LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh were in Miami and they were doing the whiteouts where the entire crowd was wearing the white t-shirts. That's a true home court advantage.
Right.
Not like a half empty stadium where at this point, just like with the Nets, for example, it's all like the premium season ticket holders. Those are the only people who are allowed to buy tickets at the beginning. And now they're putting more, I think, more tickets up on like StubHub and avenues like that. But until you get like the true diehard fans who are going to get hammered and really go crazy, you're just going to have like the C-suite execs who are there to
Yeah.
schmooze clients and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's not
That's
making
not
too
that's
much of
not a
a
home court
difference.
advantage. That's why the Knicks are so terrible because they sell out, but not like the true rabid fan bases that are going to really hype everybody up.
Well, yeah, the Knicks sell out because people want to go to the Garden. I'll go to a Knicks game. Why not? That doesn't make me. I'm not going to be sitting there rooting for the Knicks the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
go to the
I'm rooting
Garden.
for LeBron when he's in town.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, other than that, the NBA is just getting back started after their All-Star break, about halfway through the season. So we'll see how that keeps going. And then let's shift over to college hoops. We got Selection Sunday coming up on Sunday, and the 20 starting Tuesday, I believe, with the first four
I believe
games.
the 17th, the 18th, so Thursday.
Well, I mean, don't they have those two games prior to that? That's Thursday's like first round when it starts. They
Yeah,
got those
those
playing
games are
games.
usually the day before or something like
Yeah, so
that, or like
Wednesday, I
one
think
and one.
Tuesday and Wednesday, I think playing games.
Yeah,
But
and those are like usually the auto bids, which we'll
yeah,
talk about
right.
in a second. But I mean those, unless you're like a degenerate gambler, you're not really going to be paying attention to those
Yeah, right, right. The
unless you're
important,
like Dukes or whatever 2 seed or 1 seed sitting on the other side waiting for to see who they're playing.
right? Yeah. So the more important games start Thursday. We got Selection Sunday on Sunday, like I said. We got a bunch of all of the conference tournaments are either done or underway at this point, and
Yeah, so we
couple of
got
them are done. So
yeah, just want to highlight. So we got pretty much all the big conferences don't start up till tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. So the 9th, 10th, and 11th of this week, running through the 13th, and some are like early morning and afternoon on Sunday. So those are really the conference tournaments to really watch out for. But like just right now, I just wanted to highlight the four mid majors that have punched tickets to the big dance already, being Morehead State, Loyola Chicago, Liberty, and Winthrop. And just want to talk a little bit about like what to kind of expect their style of play because most people don't really watch the mid majors. They don't have because not really they don't have the NBA talent nor really the
they don't
true.
have the TV. They don't have the TV deals.
Not even that. I mean, like you go on Stream East or whatever
Well,
you
yeah,
use to
but
watch Elite League.
not
Yeah,
everybody's doing that. That's that's some real hoops fans. But
yeah,
the average viewer, like you were saying, wouldn't really know about them
yeah.
as much.
That's what
You
I'm
know what I mean?
saying. But
Yeah.
just to highlight Morehead State, so I've been riding them pretty hard betting wise for most of the season. Depending on the matchup, of course. But I believe they were like a 3 or 4 seed in their conference tournament going in. Uh, but they won the Ohio Valley Conference, pretty good mid-major conference. Typically have some teams that could make a little noise, not necessarily win a game, but still put up a good fight. And I would say they would be a pretty good matchup for if they got pinned against UVA because both teams are heavily heavily favored the defensive side of the court where but like Morehead State, the reason I like them, they have a much more explosive offense than UVA. And defensively, yeah, UVA's probably got better athletes, but as we've seen over the course of this year, they're so hot and cold that if Hauser's cold from three and little point guard Clark, he can't get in the lane and really create. Like if they really cut him off, that offense goes to die.
Mm-hmm.
So and like yeah, two defensive teams that are going to be they have low tempo, pretty low points possessions per game. So if UVA goes cold, then you could like I could totally see Morehead State's that like talking totally hypothetically because we don't know the brackets right now,
Right.
but like just saying like if had they been matched up, it would be like 55-51 scoring
Yeah.
affair, and if
Moorhead
UVA
could pull it
cold
off.
Morehead, yeah, like I could totally see him pulling it off.
Yeah, I was at a so the year after UVA lost as a number one seed, I was at their first round game the next season, so 2 seasons ago. Um, and they first half, man, that other team
Oh,
came
that was
out.
scary.
Yeah, you were watching, dude. I
Yep,
was there.
of course.
The other team's fans were electric. When I tell you, like they had the entire gym up rooting for them, like because for those games it's all sectioned out because there's like a couple games for each ticket.
Yeah.
So because UVA was number one and these guys came in with all that electricity as a 16 seed, everybody that wasn't in the UVA section was rooting for them and like in on their cheering and all their chants and stuff. Absolutely electric. And by halftime, I thought they were going down, but they
Oh,
figured it out in the locker
I
room.
thought so from looking at the TV. I thought so too, but I
Yeah.
mean,
But the point is, UVA is liable to take a L as the number one seed. So,
yeah, and like I've kind of been up and down on them pretty much this whole season. So right around the time when I put out the West Virginia blog, when was it? That was probably now like 3-4 weeks ago at this point.
yeah.
But I was kind of debating whether I was going with either West Virginia or UVA because they kind of have like historically similar style of play, more defensive oriented teams. But then thought about like, all right, which team is going to be more poised to make a run? Then ended up going with West Virginia because they've moved away from the Press Virginia name and like also style of play. So having more of an offensive mentality, they have a lot better chance to make a run than UVA does. And like at that particular time, UVA was starting to trend upward. And then I think it was like within the next week and a half, then they took a loss, then got blown out by FSU. So
Yeah, FSU just took a little loss, but it's all good. They're a team to look out for as well come 20 time.
yeah.
Who else punched their tickets already?
So next we'll highlight Loyola Chicago. They won the Missouri Valley Conference, beating Drake, who Drake was a good team. They're still a excuse me, outside chance that Drake might catch a bit not might get into the tournament. I think it's a very slim chance depending on how the other bubble teams do in their respective conference tournaments. But all right, yeah, I'll get moving here, but like they don't follow the hype of 2018 when they made the Final Four because all those starters, they're long gone playing overseas in places. Their
Yeah.
sister Jean's not gonna be in the building. She's gonna be watching it from her TV, wherever she's at. Also, so a couple things on them uh in particular. So they average like around like a little bit under 60 points per game. So again, like similar to what I was saying before about UVA, slow like low possession, like a lot less possessions per game, slower pace. So it's gonna like they average 60 points a game, and you get into defensive battle, people start shaking a little bit and not shooting too well. It's going to be low scoring. Plus, their best player, who won, I'm pretty sure he won Conference Player of the Year, Cameron Krutwig. He's kind of like a undersized five who likes to throw his weight around, and that's how he does most of his damage on the offensive end. But you see, whether it be like a lot bigger team, they'll dominate him in the post. He won't get anything going on offense, or even if like the other team goes small and brings him away from the basket, they'll just break him down and take him one-on-one and get by him every time because he's like a big hefty boy. He's a big fella. But Liberty U won the Atlantic Sun. I would not bet them to have a first round upset. They rank 340th in the country out of like what 350 teams in possessions per game. However, they're a great defensive team, and they rank third in the country in opponents' points per game, following it's Houston and I want to say UVA, but like another like really good defensive school. I was looking at that before we hopped on. And then Winthrop, another team I've been riding like pretty hard betting wise. They honestly, depending on the matchup, they could be a decent. They like that in the lines. They might not be a bad pick for an early upset because they rank 49th in the country in possessions per game. Screams higher tempo. But then again, we gotta wait till Selection Sunday, and next week we'll be breaking down a lot more matchup stuff I like early on as far as possible upsets, things to watch out for as we see how some teams progress. Because we talked a little bit about last time, UConn's like just taking like those Kemba UConn teams. Some of those got like a team that could really get hot and go on a big run. They could just ride that momentum into the tournament and make some big noise as one of the lower seeds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me personally, I'm looking forward to this Big Ten tournament. My boy's about to be out there in Indianapolis. They're taking off tomorrow. The kid I just interviewed, that's the only reason
Yep.
I'm mentioning it, so I can give a little promo to that interview again. But yeah, be sure to check that out. We'll have some vlogs coming as well this week and next week leading up to Selection Sunday and tournament beginning. And we'll catch you guys again next time with this as well. You got a podcast dropping this week or no?
Uh, Possibly,
Well,
tentatively, yeah. So
maybe tune into his as well.
yeah, maybe tune in podcast GTM. We'll definitely have one coming out beginning of next week. Ultimately, depending on how much I'm partying later this week for me and my cousin's birthday. The co-host on the pod, you
Yeah,
know,
so
got to enjoy the Florida weather when I'm down there.
yeah, don't look forward to a podcast from them, but if it drops, give it a listen.
If it drops, you'll see it on the web.
Yep. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed On the Court episode 2 with AG and CP. Check out www.russosplaybook.com for all of our articles. We got another podcast dropping on Wednesday with our weekly show. Thursday, we've got the UFC show again with Keith. And then Friday, Saturday, pump out some UFC stuff. We got free agency starting up next week. So we'll get those going as well.
Yeah, and
And
I'll be coming out with some more college basketball blogs. Pop, not sure the topics, maybe stuff to look for in the conference tournaments or different teams to watch out for come tournament time next week.
yep. So
Stay
stay
tuned.
tuned. Look forward to that. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.